When you listen to Kamala Harris on what she will do, you can almost start a drinking game every time she says small businesses.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about CNN's Dana Bash destroying Kamala Harris for her repetitive talking points. The whole thing, what she say, small business, I'm a small town girl, all these things she says is kind of on the loop. It's on repeat. It's like they trained her, they gave her a few talking points, and they say, hey, have at it. And when you're asked certain questions about the economy, about the migrant crisis, about global conflicts, I want you to say these certain things. Stick to that and you won't go wrong. And it's so obvious, even CNN is saying you could pretty much have a drinking game based upon how many times she says certain things. Now, I got to be a little bit responsible here. Don't do that, okay? Please drink responsibly. If you start a drinking game for Kamala Harris's repetitive talking points, you might go ahead and be 6 feet deep, okay? So please, please, please save yourself and do not do a drinking game based on what she says. But what Dana Bash is talking about is right on point. And I like CNN sometimes. Occasionally they do something good. For the most part, they're not really a good network, but they do good things sometimes. The debate between Trump and Biden, although for an ulterior motive, that was pretty good. And this right here was pretty good as well. And before I go any further, let's get straight to it. Of course, y'all know the clips will be in the box, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
When you listen to Kamala Harris on what she will do, you can almost start a drinking game every time she says small businesses. Let me give you an example.
Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
I want to stop right here and say a few things. First of all, I think this was at the NABJ conference. Well, not the conference, because remember, she was supposed to be at the NABJ conference that Trump was at. That's when Trump was saying the whole thing about, well, I thought she was Indian, but then she's really black, all this, that, and the third. She was supposed to be there, but she didn't show up. So they finally got her to come through. Of course, no Trump, just her by herself. Funny how that works, but I digress. And then the whole thing about, oh, you can't start a business with $5,000. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right. It all depends on what you're doing, but maybe Kamala doesn't really know what you can do in business because she's not really experienced with that. All she knows how to do is be a social climber. That's it. But I digress.
So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it.
Describe the politics of that.
When she says that, she also talks about being a middle-class kid. That's also at the front of her answers. If you look at the interviews they've been doing with local media, and they've opened up a bit more since the debate, the first question is often, what are you going to do to lower prices? Which is a very hard question for an incumbent party to answer. And it has implications that are very Trumpian. It is, Trump says he's going to do mass deportation. That'll decrease demand. Trump says he'll explore more energy. That'll decrease energy costs. Democrats can point to the fact that inflation is actually, it was bad 2 years ago. It's not now. What people want to hear is how do you make the prices go down? So everything she says is something realistic that could survive a fact check that answers a very hard question. There is not a plan to say that we're going to lower the cost of your grocery bill to what it was in 2019.
There's nothing that she really can do. I mean, if she's going to continue on with the same kind of policies that existed under the Biden administration, you're going to get more of the same. So when they're asking her the question, if she's being honest, she'll say, well, I can't really do much. But of course, she can't say that because that'll pretty much tank the whole campaign worse than what's happening right now. In my humble opinion, you got the Titanic partially submerged. If she goes out there and says stuff like that, you're going to have a full shipwreck. But I digress.
There was a pandemic. There was a money supply inflation. You can't hit the button that makes that go away. But Trump has an answer that gets him through these questions. And Harris, I think with a different set of incentives and a different relationship to something she can back up in a policy paper, she doesn't have an answer. So she goes to a larger, well, imagine a future where there are more businesses and this starts to ameliorate.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. Now, we have another clip from CNN. This one, and this guy right here, the guy with the big suit and the afro, I'm not a fan. I think that's, what's his name? Ely Mistel, whatever his name is. I don't like him. This guy over here, he's pretty cool. They have him on CNN talking sometimes. But this video is pretty interesting. Let's check it out.
Just don't agree. I mean, the underpinning of her campaign, I mean, she repeats it herself. Trump will be a dictator on day one. I mean, this country fights dictators. That's what our history is. We fight dictators.
Didn't he say that?
He'll be a dictator on
Those
day
were
one.
his words.
There'll be a bloodbath. There'll be a bloodbath.
And this is more of the drinking game thing. Oh, he's a dictator. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's all the same old things. And these things are lies. And the whole thing about good people on both sides. Oh, my goodness. That's been beat to death so much that even the leftists are saying that that was fake, that was a misinterpretation of what he was saying. All right. They twisted his words. Even they said that, but they still going to roll out there with it because they know at a certain point that these same old repetitive talking points work with certain kinds of people. They work with uneducated people, which is what the Democratic Party relies on. They'll educate you to a certain extent. You go to K through 12, undergrad, whatever. You'll do all that, but you're going to be educated in a certain way that will keep you ignorant to things that actually matter, like politics. But I digress.
There would be a
He wants to terminate the U.S. Constitution.
She didn't say that there would be
The first thing she said, which was true, and the second thing
It is said by every Democrat working for or around her campaign every day on this network and every other one. The bloodbath thing is stated every single day.
Okay, let me
But
just
my
just
point
to clear,
is,
just to clear
dictator,
this up.
bloodbath, eliminate Constitution.
Hold on.
What do you
Let's
think that
just
does
to clear
people?
this up. You're referring to Trump's use of the word bloodbath when he was talking.
And what was he talking about?
He was. I'm going to explain it to people because I think there's confusion about this. Use of the word bloodbath when he was talking about, vehicle manufacturing jobs in the United States. Vice President Harris improperly and unfairly mischaracterized that as him saying there would be a bloodbath if he were elected. However, she did not say that if Trump were elected, there would be a bloodbath. She did not say that.
Now, but see, here's the thing about it. See, he's not getting confused. He's being frustrated because they're playing with words. Listen, the whole bloodbath comment, that was in reference to the auto industry. Hey, if I'm not elected, it's going to be a bloodbath in the industry, meaning there's going to be a big economic downturn. There's going to be a lot of financial loss, financial ruin. The term bloodbath in this context refers to economics. It refers to money. It does not refer to a literal bloodbath of human beings like, oh, if you don't pick me, then people are going to get deleted in the streets. The head's going to get chopped off. I'm going to ride around in my golf court with people's heads. No, he's talking about finances, money, cash. That's it. Nothing about actual physical blood from your body on the ground. That's just not what it was. But they'll say it in a certain way to, again, make uneducated people think that he's referring to actual blood on the ground. That's how they do all the time. That's their strategy, to manipulate you to believe things that aren't true. Okay. And then they'll say, well, he did say bloodbath, but what was the context? We need context. We need the full actual quote to understand what he was talking about, because anyone's words can be twisted if that is the goal of whoever's reporting the news, to twist your words. That can make you, you can say, listen, as I close, I want to say this. You can be made to say whatever they want you to say. They will take what you say, chop it up. I mean, it's so bad that they will even take a tweet, like an actual, like words. They'll take words that you can see on a sheet of paper and they'll not even read all of it. They'll read passages from 80 words. They'll read 10 words from 80 words and make the entire meaning of the 80 completely change. That's how they do. It's ridiculous. It should stop. But again, that's what they want to do over there on the left. So they're going to be, they'll be repetitive, keep on saying the same thing over and over again, to the point where it becomes a drinking game and a laughing stock to those who know better. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on this whole situation with the drinking game, saying the same thing over and over again? A lot of the lies that have been repeated, the bloodbath and good people on both sides and all these things. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is typical mainstream media, typical leftist politicians, what they do all the time. This is what they do all the time. There's no surprise here at all. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.